Hello and welcome to another Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the film Mickey 17, directed by Bong Joon-Ho. So I loved Bong's last film, Parasite. What I'd seen of his earlier work was okay, Okja and The Host, but it felt like Parasite was a real step up. It had similar themes to his earlier work, but it was much more sophisticated, well deserving of its Oscars. So I was quite looking forward to his next film, Mickey 17. What a disappointment. It's not the worst film I've ever seen, but it felt like a film that was well short of what could be expected from such a great filmmaker. The film explores the life of an expendable space worker on a mission to colonize a distant planet. Mickey is tasked with performing really dangerous jobs, knowing that when he dies, his consciousness and memories will be uploaded into a new body. I think the premise of the story is good. It's an interesting and thought-provoking sci-fi idea with interesting themes of identity, class and colonialism. But for me, it really struggles to balance these ambitious themes with its overall satirical tone and narrative execution. The film did have one or two moments where I thought perhaps it's going to take off now, but ultimately I found it really uneven. Its satire was really heavy-handed and it was just too long. The heart of the film is Mickey's existential crisis. He's the 17th iteration of Mickey, and they thought he was dead, so they produced Mickey 18. The two versions then come face to face. It does raise interesting questions, but it feels like this is never fully explored beyond the superficial. The film is also full of metaphors, very obvious metaphors, critiquing the class system, colonialism, in ways that do resonate with Bong's earlier works. The Expendables, like Mickey, represent the exploited working class, treated as disposable tools by the ruling elite. Meanwhile, the colony leader, Kenneth Marshall, played by Mark Ruffalo, embodies the privileged authoritarian leader. It's about colonialization, imperialistic exploitation. The humans show no regard for the native species on this world. The film's themes are definitely rich with potential, but their execution often feels clumsy. Much like Bong's earlier films, The Host and Okja, Mickey 17 leans heavily, very heavily, on satire to deliver its message. However, where Parasite achieved a kind of masterful balance between subtlety and sharp critique, Mickey 17 opts for exaggerated humour that quickly becomes repetitive and frankly a bit tiresome. The character of Kenneth Marshall is a prime example. Ruffalo plays it in a really over-the-top way. It's a caricature of authoritarian leaders, a leader like Trump perhaps. I see how this was intended as biting satire, but for me it comes across as just too silly to be effective. Scenes like Kenneth's wife obsessing over luxury sauces or his cult-like followers wearing red hats feel more like parodies than meaningful critiques. The dinner scene where characters break into song epitomises this tonal imbalance. It may have been intended as a surreal moment, highlighting the absurdity of the elite's detachment from reality, but for me it just felt cringeworthy and out of place. Such moments detract from the film's more serious themes by veering too far into slapstick territory. Even Robert Pattinson's performance leans into this silliness. His voice for Mickey is quirky to the point of absurdity. This fits the satirical tone of the film, but I found that this made it really difficult to fully invest in Mickey's existential struggles. There's no doubt that Pattinson fully commits to the role. I think he probably does a good job of delivering what was asked of him. Pattinson is a versatile actor, and it is a performance that we've not seen from him before, but the exaggerated humour of his character undermines the emotional weight of his journey. Another flaw in Mickey 17 is its underutilisation of its stellar supporting cast. Actors like Toni Collette and Stephen Ewan, even Mark Ruffalo, they feel wasted in roles that lack depth or development. Yet another problem is that the film is unnecessarily long. It's 2 hours and 17 minutes. It could easily have been 90 minutes, even less. It may have worked better as a 90-minute film. At more than 2 hours, the film feels repetitive and even indulgent. It feels as if it's reinforcing themes or jokes that have already been established earlier in the story. There's absolutely no subtlety here. Bong is making sure that not a single person misses the metaphors. There were a number of times during the film where I thought of Paul Verhoeven's Starship Troopers. This is also an exaggerated satirical tale, but I think Verhoeven did this much better. Somehow his film worked, whereas Mickey 17 doesn't. I think that one of the reasons for this was that Verhoeven made the action actually entertaining. It was as if he knew that the film was superficial and tasteless, as with his other films, but he enjoyed the ambiguity of seeming to revel in creating great action scenes. This clearly isn't Bong Joon-Ho's style, and I just wondered if he was a bit too classy to do this. It's only by using stupid satire that he can justify making an action film, but you have the feeling that he didn't want to make the action good in itself, exactly as with The Host. The monster was really silly, I thought, and the action scenes were never exciting, even in a silly way. There were a few quirky moments, a bit of surrealism and absurdity. He does have a unique style. I liked these moments, but they were overwhelmed by the silly, over-exaggerated satire. It felt like a step backward for Bong Joon-Ho. While it revisits some similar themes from his earlier works, such as The Host and Okja, it doesn't feel as if it takes us anywhere new. It certainly doesn't reach anywhere near the heights of Parasite. None of the subtlety, none of the craftsmanship that he displayed in this previous masterpiece. In short, while Mickey 17 has its moments, and it does have intriguing concepts at its core, it ultimately fails to justify its length or fully capitalise on its potential. It's an ambitious misfire from a really talented director. Even great filmmakers can stumble when they revisit old ground without bringing anything truly new to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.